Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation, and today we're going back to the path of the Pokemon Master with one of the weirdest things to do in this channel so far. So I got this box. As you can see, and you're familiar, you ever bought like a bunch of cards, you know that when a box comes like this, it's because that's the box that they send to retailers and stuff like that. So I opened it to see what's up with that, and well, you already know what the video is about, because it's in the title, so this is what we are opening today. A bunch of blisters. Because why not? So if you want the Pikachu coin, send me an email. So we have all this. Basically, this is some sort of cosmic mistake, because I remember that the original email or agreement was something like, yeah, I need... It's like, oh, you want to see the new... You want to check the new boosters? Like, yes. I want to... like, send me one. They send me one box. Not one blister. One box. And half of it is with Pineco or Pineco, but I mean, it's the pine, so Pineco. And the other with Sinestea. So this is going to be fun because... or not, because it's just a bunch of boosters, a bunch of repeated cards of Pineco and Sinestea, and a bunch of Pikachu coins. So here we go. For the sake of variety, oops, there goes gravity. We're going to do like half and half. So this is a type of product that I really like, you know, as an adult collector kind of thing. I don't see any value in this product, right? But as an adult that, you know, deals with this type of thing, I actually see a lot of value in this product. Because you got a coin, very shiny coin. You got a foil that is actually worthless to anyone that plays the game or collects, because, I mean, it's very easy to obtain, so no value here whatsoever. You got a booster, which is always a nice bait, and then you get a code that you can use, by the way. We're going to get a bunch of these in this video to get basically this in-game. And it all comes in a nice, nifty booster that says, oh, blah, 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 Pokemon, blah, 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 right? So why is this something that I don't like at all? Because this has no purpose. I mean, if you are an adult or something and you just want to open boosters, just buy a box of boosters, even though Pokemon somehow has made it more and more difficult, or more expensive, I will say, to buy the boxes as time passes, right? But what really makes it, or what really makes this weird, to say something, is that, you know, to get one booster, this is kind of too overpriced. In this case, it was actually super mega hyper duper cheap. Too cheap, maybe, because maybe of the bulk purchase. But the purpose of this is really what you're imagining, right? What you're imagining and what you think it is exactly, which is, hey, another code. So you have a code for the booster and you have a code for the blister. Not bad. Which is, this is made to sit on the aisle on the supermarket, right? Like, or in the last stop before the cashier, right? This is the thing that kids will ask their parents again and again and again, please, 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 because, well, is that type of product is there to bait them. I mean, not blaming them. Is a cool little thing, and this is the type of thing that a parent will also buy as a present of sorts, right? Like, oh yeah, you behaved you behaved correctly at school, so there you go. I will buy you one of these blisters, and the kid is all happy. And this is where I'm going to separate these on the side, because we're going to get a bunch of this, and that's where the Pokemon Company is really smart, right? Like, compared to other trading card games, even though, like, again, I'm an adult, I think, and I play Pokemon, and I collect Pokemon and all that. you can't deny that the main focus or the main thing they are appealing for is kids, and that's okay. Like, things can be for kids, but not specifically for kids, or things can be, you know, kid able, I guess, but not specifically for kids, or not dumbed down because it's for kids, right? That's kind of the philosophy. The philosophy is not to do games for children, but for the child in all of us, and that's kind of what Pokemon technically is. Although the video games and so on are so easy nowadays and so dumbed down that I feel like someone forgot about it because marketing. But Pokemon has a bunch of products that are literally made for this purpose, which is the purpose. It's going to be so messy to open like all of this. It's not even fun. There you go. Like, Pikachu coin. We're going to get a bunch of those. Pineco. Code for you. And a booster. Like, you have these, the lunch boxes, the special figure card packs kind of things. Like, just like look at the videos on the channel for a lot of recent Pokemon products. I enjoy opening them because it's like, you know, it's kind of a blast from the past, and it's fun. I mean, as long as you do it for fun and not hoping to pull a super duper expensive card or anything like that, right? It is what it is. So you can have a good time, actually. And sometimes I just impressed at the creativity, right? Like, oh, a lunchbox, that's nice. It's twice the same card in a booster. That's nice. You know what I mean? Zekrom, oh, let's go. And that sort of thing, right? Like, to me, that's where the creativity kind of is. I mean, you can also say that it's predatory. Like, oh no, they made it specifically to call out for kids. Well, that's not going too well in that department. Like, things are made for kids, but just because they want the kids to scream, or they want the things on the aisle in the supermarket. But they know the thing as it is, and they know it's a product. It's a very different approach, and it's weird how they balance the thing compared to like Wizards and so on, because Wizards always had this relationship with the games, with the local game stores and all that, and the players have always had this discourse of like, no, don't buy at the big, you know, supermarkets and all that, which is 100% correct. I mean, a supermarket has a lot of lines of income or revenue, and the local game store is just for games. And if you want a place that is specialized into, you know, the hobby that technically you like, right? Then, you know, support with your wallet. Like, you need to voice your opinion always through your wallet when it comes to this sort of things. So it is what it is. Now, Pokemon has a weird balance act going on, because on one side, they will be like, oh, okay, we have all these products for Walmart and so on. There are, because, I mean, yes, a local game store can have these in their shelves, but I mean, knowing the type of public or audience that goes to those stores, like, you know, normally it's a store that you need to go to on your own. It's not on the way to something. Like, most adults are not going to be like, yay, man, I need this blister with a Pikachu on it and yada, yada, yada. So it really comes down to supermarkets and so on. But ironically, the prices that Pokemon gives on regionals and all that are higher than some other companies or some other card games in the market, or like all of them in some cases, like paying $10,000 for winning the regionals and stuff like that. That's, you know, that's commitment, because they know, like, people, that's a line of income, which is the people that just, you know, buy and play, and they make the game the competitive side of it, which is technically what this thing is supposed to be, because you're supposed to play with the game, play with the cards, right? That's technically the whole purpose. Is a trading card game, right? Although a lot of us collect them, and it's very nice to collect them, like, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, they're supposed to be for play. So it's very good that they support the play aspect of it. And I'm all in for that. And it's also cool that they do these things for kids. Now, the amount of kids, this is something very interesting. Like back in my day, so like back in my time, I will say that the two TCGs for kids were Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Ironically, both Japanese, and ironically, both propelled by an animated series. And in the case of Pokemon, also because of the games, right? So we're going to pretend like the games don't exist here. Like I remember specifically, I played a little bit of Pokemon back in the day, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I actually really love the illustrations. Let's remember that back in the day, again, internet wasn't a thing in 1998. Well, I mean, it was, but you know what I mean. At least for kids. And the only way that you had to see a Pokemon was in the game, and those sprites were certainly a thing in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. And the other best way that you had to look at them was the game manual. You actually had great illustrations in the game manual. And if you were lucky, in the anime series, you will see from time to time something appearing. Oh, this Absol card is sick, man. Nice. But it's basically Pokemon of the week. So in that week, you will see that Pokemon or this Pokemon. And if you want to see one that you like a lot, or if the Pokemon already showed, well, you were screwed. And, it is what it is. So when I saw the first Pokemon trading card games, trading cards, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Because what I was looking at was the Pokemon that I was used to look at in the sprites, or maybe in one episode of the show, but with crazy new illustrations. And like this, the first, 3-4 sets of Pokemon trading card game, the whole Wizards line of the TCG, it used the illustrations, at least in the promotional materials and all that, with the I think it's Ken Sugimori or Sugimori, the one that illustrates. I may be wrong, please correct, but I think it was Ken Sugimori. And that illustration style is so epic, so iconic of the earlier generations of Pokemon. And I always liked it. The fat Pikachu and those like watercolors that the Pokemons had. And everything was kind of chubby. To me, that's the nostalgic design of Pokemon, right? Like, even though, like, you will give me a Squirtle, I can take Squirtle anytime, best starter ever. But the OG drawing, that's in the manual, that thing speaks to my soul. So the card game was basically like that. And I really enjoyed it. But I didn't have anyone to play with. I don't know if it was because of limited availability or because it was too expensive or what. And ironically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Became a bigger hit in my surroundings, at least, and because a lot more people, let's go, Milotic, were exposed to the anime, right? And everyone wanted to do duel, because that's also, I think, part of the thing, right? Which is, by the way, notice this. This is how they are supposed to look. And this one is a rare limited edition misplace. Yeah, we were thinking like, yeah, save that one. That's a rarity. It's like, nah, it's not. No one cares. Although it's fun. And it's documented for posterity in the video, but it is what it is, right? Like, the shot for the thumbnail. Let's go. So Pokemon is different, I think. I think that the reason why, I'm not saying that not people didn't play the TCG. The TCG, a lot of people play the TCG. That's why we're here today. And a lot of people still play it. But I think it didn't have the same hook as, for example, Yu-Gi-Oh! At least for like younger fans and so on. Because you see the Pokemon anime, and your mind goes to, I want to be a Pokemon master, etc. And you had the video game, right? So if you buy the video game, which you need a Game Boy for that, and the video game, which is certainly more expensive than the cards, but if you keep buying cards, it's pretty much cheaper to just buy the Game Boy and the game. And in the Game Boy and the game, you had the full Pokemon trainer experience. Like you will do the gym challenges, and you can capture them all, and yada yada yada. So if you really wanted to emulate what you saw on the show, well, there's only one way, and that way was playing the video game. For Yu-Gi-Oh, if you wanted to emulate what you saw on the show, well, there is only one way, and that way was playing the cards. So to me, the Pokemon trading cards always were like this nice thing on the side, right? And I never like fully invested on it, for better or worse. I mean, not that it's something like bad or good in, you know, getting into the choo-choo train later. Ooh, Tapu Koko EX. Well, that thing is crazy. Give me a second. This illustration is so crazy that if you don't know the Pokemon, which is from Alola, you don't know what the hell you're looking at. That's crazy. Good looking card right there. Water energy. Code for you. So I don't even remember why I started talking about the whole. When I was a kid, back in my day, also we didn't have this sort of, you know, for lack of a better term, predatory children's products specifically. But Pokemon was like a side thing. Plus, it was done by Wizards of the Coast, and there is something that you need to understand. It depends on your environment, of course, on your surroundings and the people that, you know, is around you, and if you had a older brother or sister that played Magic, or your dad or someone. But for most kids, they either didn't know what Magic the Gathering was, or Magic the Gathering was like the grown-up game, right? So I remember playing Pokemon and thinking, oh, this is cool, and then seeing some Magic the Gathering cards and thinking like, oh, okay, that's the serious stuff. And I remember it was like a dragon or something, but it's just because of the type of illustration, right? You will be like, oh, that's some serious business right there. And that's how I kind of ignored Magic the Gathering for a long time, and focus on Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Mostly Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of cards. Pokemon in terms of video games. I have so much Pokemon stuff. It's funny. And nowadays, just by, you know, opening packs, I kind of like what the Pokemon Company... I mean, I don't like it as a consumer, but I like it from a business aspect. What the Pokemon Company is doing with the card game, which is like, okay, it works, right? I don't know to which degree... Ooh, Brute Bonnet, let's go. To which degree they insist or they care about the whole competitive side of it, or the game even, because some cards really get broken, but the meta is kind of a little bit more flexible than some of the other metas from the other trading card games. So you can really just play with the cards as they are, but the business strategy that they have with the cards is interesting. Now, the products are expensive. Like, I will say that a Pokemon booster box, in a lot of cases, is more expensive than like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Flesh and Blood, and sometimes by comparison of like value and so on, also more than Magic the Gathering, which Magic the Gathering is not making easy to maintain this statement, because they keep releasing stuff and every time it's more and more expensive. So one of these days they're going to implode, which, to be honest, I don't know if it's going to make me happy or sad when that happens, but it is what it is. So, but Pokemon is different. Pokemon plays like a, you know, like a smooth... Pokemon plays like the smooth Donatello game. They just go like, okay, so our boosters are more expensive. And we don't have a lot of crazy treatments. The most you will see us doing is like changing the borders of the cards. So everything in, I don't know, you had a yellow border. Well, now for Pokemon Violet and Purple, it's silver borders. But hey, all the cards are compatible. It's like, well, they're right. And they add a little bit of a mechanic here and there, you know, nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. They add like different types of foil, like, oh, you have this like pattern foil, there's like a reverse foil. It's like, oh, that's cool. And you also have the normal foil, right? And the normal foil is also very cool. Like, yeah, let's go. But the actual super duper cards, those are very rare to come by. Those we don't have laying around as easy. So our rares are actually rares. The thing with Pokemon is that cards have rarity. Like, I'm not going to pretend like they don't, because it's a booster based card game. So it is what it is. But they certainly disguise it a little bit better. For example, Pineco is a G, right? Because it's a... I remember what the letters mean. I am kind of getting old here. But actually no, the G is something else. The dot is the rarity. So if it's a dot, it's common. If it's a star, it's rare or something like that. So they do have rarities, but it's not as weird or prohibitive to pull the things that you want. And the cool versions, the actual expensive cards, so you can just buy the singles, and all the singles are fairly cheap. See, like common. The expensive versions are only like visual changes. So this is rare, which is like a diamond, not pearl. And I think it's a rhombus, but whatever. Then you have the star, which is like, I don't remember the names of the varieties, but basically it's like, you know, common, uncommon, rare, and mythic or something, you know. So it's common, uncommons, these are rares. And the star is, yeah, like rare or something. There you go. And so they are more difficult to come by, but not that difficult. And you can just buy the singles, and they are not that expensive. Like, maybe the value per card individually is higher than, for example, what commons cost in Magic the Gathering. But maybe mostly because you don't have as many, like the singles market is not that thing, or not a lot of people do the whole pump and dump, which is basically buying a bunch of booster boxes and then selling everything that you don't want, which is pretty much everything, to LGS and so on. And then the rare ones are the ones that are expensive. Like, you can easily pull $10, well, easily, we haven't pulled any yet, but like $10, $20, sometimes 50, sometimes $100 cards in certain sets. But those are visual changes to the cards, so they are valuable because they are very difficult to come by. As you have seen, we haven't pulled anything yet. Although I think this is the booster that's going to change that. Let's see. Let's see. Yep, it's in the next one. But I mean, sometimes it's like $2. It's not that crazy. It depends a lot on the card as well. But you can play with the normal version of the card, unless we're talking about an EX card. But when it's cards like these ones are, ironically, these are normally the more expensive ones, which is like Plusle. And it has 2 normal energies plus damage, right? And if you go and look for Plusle, it's the same. Same abilities, same everything, right? So I think then you have Minor as well. That's the beauty of these chase cards, right? It's like, they are very nice. I really love these cards of like Pokemon doing their day-to-day life in the Pokemon world. Like, this is the type of card that I like the most. I don't like those that are renders or the golden ones or the rainbow ones. I know that those are more expensive, but these are the ones that I really love. The ones of just, you know, Pokemon doing their life. And this is basically Plusle watching the Euro Cup or the America Cup or the Olympics, I guess. Everything is happening this year, man. Like, can be anything. Chi-Yu, Fist Energy, and then a code for you. And we're down to the last 4. I really hate these blisters. They are in no way like as intuitive to open as you may expect. Another Pikachu coin. another Sinestea, another code for you, another booster. So far we opened all these boosters. We only pulled like one rare, when I say rare, I mean like special card. In this case, the Plusle one. Besides that, has been pretty okay, pretty average. We got a very nice range of cards, so if you are just doing the collection, that's okay. As a reminder, usual reminder, don't do this if you are collecting or if you want a specific card. Don't do that. If you want to like kickstart the collection or of a set or something, yeah, buy a booster box, I guess, but that's just for the fun of it. And realize that you are not going to complete the collection with one booster box and you're going to get a bunch of repeated cards. So you have to be very aware of that before you make those investments. And once you are okay with that fact and you are like, you have interiorized it, then sure, buy it if you want. But normally the best thing you can do is just buy the singles, like the cards that you actually want. Because we're talking that at most it's going to be like $1 for a card. And you're really like, oh, I'm not going to pay $1 for a card. Or maybe let's say that even like there's a card that you want and it's like $5. Maybe even 10. Let's say even 10. Or, you know, even let's go even crazier and let's say that you want one like those special Pokemon cards like the Plusle one. And maybe the one that you're looking for is like $20, right? Or $50 or $100, right? So see the thing, even those cards, it's cheaper to buy the single than it is to gamble trying to get it, because opening boosters is gambling, kids. Don't ever forget it. So, because let's say a booster box can cost you like what, $80 maybe? Let's say $80. Let's say that the card that you want specifically, someone is selling it for 100, which is like very expensive card. But let's assume that that card in particular is 100. You may be like, well, the one card is more expensive than the whole booster box. And it's like, well, if you're going for bulk, sure. But you're going to get a bunch of cards that you don't want or don't need just out of the fun of opening cards. And you're going to open the entire box, and there's a very big chance you're not going to pull the card that you need. If you pull it, hey, more power to you, but you're likely not going to, mostly because of a matter of statistics and probability. So you need to buy another box, and maybe another one, and maybe another one. And yes, you will have a ton of cards, a lot of repeated ones that you don't know what to do with them. And then by the end of it, you're going to be like, well, maybe it was cheaper to just buy the card I wanted. And it's like, yep, that's the thing. And this is talking about an extreme case of a $100 card, right? Most cards are like $1 or less than $1 really, but we're talking about like rare ones or things that you actually want to chase. It's like $1, maybe $5, maybe $10, still cheaper than buying the box. Now, if you really want to like, again, kickstart the collection, do the bulk. By the way, last Sinestea one, then yes, I guess it makes, if you want to, and if it makes you happy, why not? It's your money. But it's not, mathematically, it's not the best choice. The best choice is always to just buy the singles if you're looking for something. If you're not looking for something, then whatever. Now, you may be thinking, well, this guy is talking, but I mean, look at his channel. And it's like, well, there are two reasons for that. One, this is a way of life. So I'm doing this on purpose. Like, I know my statistics, and this is kind of like a therapeutic thing, both for me and for you. You can see the openings and get the dopamine of like what the guy is going to pull without having to waste your money. So it's a collaboration. And when it comes as to me, like you will realize if you look at the videos, normally I buy like 1 box, 2 boxes, sometimes 3, if I really like a set of like Magic, Pokemon, or whatever. And then that's it. Then I just go buy the singles to complete the set, because I like to collect the sets entirely. And still is not the smartest thing, but for some, for some sets and some cards like Magic, etc., yes, buying 1 box or 2 is cheaper than buying the singles, because out of probability, let's go, Thievul, out of probability you're going to get a bunch of pulls that may be useful, but you're going to, like there are some sets of Magic that I open like 4 boxes, and at the end I'm still missing like 10 cards. And if you are, and that's because I was lucky. Sometimes I miss like 20. Let's go. IPOM. Look at that. They look like made out of clay. I love it. See, these are the cards that I really, really love. Like the ones that really put a twist on it. And I still love to this day the whole Pokemon TCG thing of illustrating the Pokemon in different ways, in different fashions, doing different things. That's the nice thing, because to see always the same default illustration, I can just look at the Pokemon.com, you know what I mean? And then last but not least, the reverse one. So let's open it. The last one, a Pineco one. Is there anything special in the reverse one? Not likely. But we can only dream. I mean, we already did two very good pulls, and in the last Sinestea one, we actually had a very good pull. So I can't really ask for more. I mean, I can. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get anything. So yeah, like sometimes, you know, I buy a bunch of boxes for a set, and I don't even have the collection, so I need to buy the rest. But that's normal because, you know, again, probability. So if you want something in particular, just buy the singles. Don't do this. And I mean, this version in particular that we are doing with the blisters, this is one of the weirdest and craziest things, because it's very unpractical in every sense. As you can see, opening them is kind of a pain. I have a bunch of coins and repeated cards I don't know what to do with. So this was because of a mistake that I'm, you know, like, and I was like, yeah, well, I guess it's going to be fun for the channel, for the boys and the girls to see these unfold, right? Oh, this reverse foil is nice. And but again, it's not like, oh, nice. It's not like the recommended way of doing this. And a Brute Bonnet, okay, but this is a different, like, this is the usual like rays or horizontal lines kind of thing. This is just like a reverse normal foil. This is nice. Very cool. And a Water Energy and the last code. And that's it. Now we got a bunch of cards and a bunch of Sinesteas and Pinecos that I have nothing to do with. And most crazy of all these Pikachu coins. So I'm going to get creative and do like a Pikachu coin jacket or something. And just glue them all in my chest or something, like a general or whatever. So those were the pulls. Let me know down below what you think about this. What do you think about the blisters? Have you ever bought a blister because of the card that was on display, you know, got your attention? I mean, I don't think anyone is going to get too crazy about Pineco and Sinestea. But hey, maybe everyone has a fan, right? So maybe, but I think this is more of a, well, if I get it cheap, one booster, one coin, one promo. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those things the cool kids do. Let me know what you pull out of the Pokemon codes that I share with you, and I hope to see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.